Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sentiasa. You're watching News at 10. The hearse bringing the remains of Tun Raha Muhammad Noor arrived at the Al-Raha Mosque, Kampung Kerinci at 10:50 a.m. this morning. The remains was bathed and wrapped in shroud at the mosque as the public were allowed to pay their last respects from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. In accordance with the enforcement of the Movement Control Order MCO, the Standard Operating Procedures SOP set was adhered to at the mosque. Also seen at the mosque was Tun Raha's son, former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak, the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, accompanied by Tengku Permaisuri Selangor, Tengku Permaisuri Nur Ashikin, the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, accompanied by Raja Permaisuri of Perak, Tuanku Zara Salim, former Premier Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and his wife, Tun Dr. Siti Hasma Muhammad Ali, as well as other dignitaries. After the final respects, the remains were brought to the National Mosque for the state funeral ceremony and laid to rest at the Heroes Mausoleum after Zuhur prayer today. Tun Raha, 87, had been admitted to the Prince Court Medical Centre for treatment before she breathed her last yesterday evening. She was born in Muar, Johor in 1933 and was the youngest of Johor nobleman Tan Sri Muhammad Noor Omar's 4 children. Her late father, Tan Sri Muhammad Noor Omar, was one of the founder of UMNO and the country's first Dewan Rakyat Speaker. The late Tun Raha Muhammad Noor had made numerous contributions to assist Tun Abdul Razak Hussein when he was serving this country as the second Prime Minister. Former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who was close to Tun Razak's family, described Tun Raha as among the last from the independence generation who contributed vital services and sacrifices to the country.
Antara yang terakhir lah. Jadi dia membantu Tun Razak semasa Tun Razak jadi Perdana Menteri.
Apart from her duties as the wife of the country's top leader, Tun Raha had also proved that women could make powerful contributions to the development of the nation by being involved in several women group activities in the country. She was the founder of Petaling Jaya Wanita UMNO and was also active in Ibu UMNO, now better known as Wanita UMNO. Meanwhile, Science, Technology and Innovation Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the passing of Tun Raha is considered to be a big loss to the nation.
Pada waktu itu sangat mencabar. Tun Razak pun sedang mengidap penyakit waktu menjadi Perdana Menteri dan sudah pasti Tun Raha telah memberi sokongan dalam membesarkan anak-anak, menjaga keluarga mereka.
Several members of parliament also expressed their opinions regarding the late Tun Raha.
Harapan saya adalah anak-anak muda, generasi yang seterusnya akan berusaha untuk memahami jasa beliau dan keluarga kepada nusa dan bangsa.
Selain daripada itu, umurnya 40-an, Tun Razak sudah pergi, tapi Allahyarhamah membesarkan 5 anaknya, termasuk salah seorang menjadi Perdana Menteri Malaysia yang ke-6.
About 50% of the COVID-19 vaccine doses needed to inoculate Malaysian citizens will be supplied by several European companies. According to Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Adam Baba, another 10% of the supply will be obtained by the COVAX facility, while another 20% will be from Pfizer. Explaining further, Datuk Seri Dr. Adam said the government will also procure 20% of the required vaccine supply from the British-Swedish multinational pharmaceutical AstraZeneca through an agreement which is scheduled to be signed on Monday. He added that the ministry will be working on finding another 20% of vaccine doses by cooperating with other manufacturing companies in order to meet the target of vaccinating 70% of the country's population.
Dia mesti merangkumi selamat, berkesan dan berkualiti. Dan dia mesti daftar dengan negara mereka sendiri, FDA dan EMA, European Medicine Authority, dan dia mesti melalui proses pendaftaran NPRA, National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency kita ya. Jadi sekiranya ini selesai, bermakna kita dengan sah boleh memvaksinkan masyarakat, terutama sekali golongan frontliners pada awal tahun 2021.
He was speaking to reporters in Simpang Renggam, Kluang, Johor. And now for the COVID-19 updates. Malaysia's daily COVID-19 case tally continues to hit 4 digits as the Health Ministry reported 1,153 new infections in the past 24 hours. This brings the cumulative cases in the country up to 91,969, with 15,294 of them active cases. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah in a statement said, among the new cases, 2 are imported cases who contracted the virus while abroad, and the remaining 1,151 cases are local transmissions. Selangor remains the state with the highest number of daily new cases, with 401 today, followed by Kuala Lumpur with 281 cases and Sabah with 199 cases. Meanwhile, 998 cases made a recovery today and were discharged, and the total amount of recovered cases is 76,242, or 82.9% of the total cases. 112 cases are currently being treated in intensive care unit ICU, with 56 of them requiring respiratory aid. MOH also reported 1 new death today, bringing the death toll in the country up to 433. A total of 5 new COVID-19 clusters were reported today involving Selangor, Sabah, Johor and Kelantan. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said 143 individuals have tested positive for the virus in connection with these latest clusters. In a statement, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said the first cluster was the Tapak Bina Jalan Zura cluster involving a construction site in Petaling District, Selangor. The ministry detected the early cases for this cluster since the 14th of December before confirming 49 cases in total as at noon today. Another cluster was the Keris Residence cluster in Kota Kinabalu and Tuaran districts in Sabah. Health screenings conducted on 65 individuals revealed 41 positive cases. There was also a new cluster in Johor Bahru and Kulai districts in Johor, known as the Jalan Timah cluster. Its index case tested positive for COVID-19 on the 18th of December before another 25 infections were detected. The fourth cluster was the Brumas cluster in Kalabakan, Sabah, which reported 16 cases so far after screening 89 individuals. The Health Ministry also identified a new cluster in Kelantan involving Kota Baru and Machang districts. Dubbed the Long Panji cluster, it has registered 11 positive cases so far. With these latest clusters, the total number of clusters reported in the country as of today is 440, with 199 of them being active. The number of people breaching the movement control order had increased to 249 yesterday as compared to 170 violations on Thursday. Senior Minister for Security, Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said out of the total, 248 individuals were issued with compounds, while another violator was remanded. Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri in a statement said among the offences committed include failure to observe physical distancing, failure to wear face masks in public places, as well as failure to provide proper registrations and entry logs at premises. On Op Benteng, the senior minister said the police yesterday arrested 46 illegal migrants as well as 2 skippers, apart from seizing 8 land vehicles. He added that stern action will be taken against anyone who tries to enter the country illegally. He said the enforcement agencies will also continue to tighten controls at the borders, including the illegal routes. Meanwhile, the senior minister said 12 construction sites throughout the country, which were checked yesterday, had abided by the standard operating procedures to curb the spread of COVID-19. He also said 88,827 individuals who returned to the country between 24th of July and yesterday had been placed at 73 hotels and 16 public training institutes. Flood conditions worsen in Terengganu as the number of evacuees increased to 5,759 individuals from 1,488 families as of 7 p.m. All of those affected took shelter in 46 Temporary Evacuation Centre (PPS). According to Chief Secretariat of the State Disaster Management Committee, Lieutenant Colonel of Civil Defence Che Adam A. Rahman, 4 districts are currently affected by floods, which are Kemaman, Dungun, Hulu Terengganu and Setia. Kemaman is the worst affected with 4,809 evacuees from 1,155 families in 24 PPS recorded. Meanwhile, in Hulu Terengganu, 605 evacuees from 223 families seek refuge in 11 PPS. Over in Dungun, 334 residents from 92 families were placed in 7 PPS, and Setia, 8 residents from 2 families in 1 PPS. In a related development, the Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, reduced the bad weather warning to a cautionary level as of 2:30 p.m. Heavy rains are expected to persist in Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang and Johor until tomorrow. Coming up, MCMC outdoors fixed fibre optic broadband installation targets. The Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, through the National Digital Network Jendela Plan, has surpassed initial targets for completed broadband service infrastructure in the country. According to its chairman, Dr. Fadhlullah Suhaimi Abdul Malik, in the Jendela first quarter report, 433,477 premises have been equipped with fibre optic broadband as of 16th December. This is higher than the initial target of 352,101 premises. As of 16 December 2020, MCMC, along with other telecommunications service providers, had upgraded 16,029 sites, a 98.9% uptake. They have outperformed themselves by achieving a forecasted 16,366 upgraded sites to be completed by the 31st of December, from the initial target of 16,214, a 100.9% forecasted increase. Dr. Fadhlullah also said Jendela aims for over 9 million premises with speeds of up to 100 Mbps by adopting 5G, as well as 100% 4G coverage in populated areas by 2025. The Jendela Action Plan would involve constructing 940 new mobile sites, upgrading 16,214 existing base stations at urban and suburban areas, and fiberizing 352,101 premises this year. Meanwhile, MCMC will upgrade 4,589 existing 2G and 3G base stations to 4G to expand coverage and increase speeds, sunset 3G network and migrate the spectrum for 4G technology use, as well as fiberize 1,245,452 additional premises. The establishment of the Persons with Disabilities PWD Communication Unit next year will be the first task to be handled by the Department of Community Communications, JCOM. Communications and Multimedia Minister Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah said the unit, which will be set up in collaboration with the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, is aimed at improving the delivery of service and information to the respective community nationwide. Elaborating further on the matter, he said the unit would be represented by all 7 types of disabilities in order to cater to the group's different needs, apart from ensuring that the delivery of communication is in a careful and systematic manner.
Kita selalu anggap bahawa borang yang lazim kita sediakan di agensi-agensi kerajaan itu difahami oleh semua rakyat. Tetapi bagi OKU, dia belum tentu faham bagaimana mengisi borang itu dan keperluan dalam borang itu macam kita faham.
The minister added that the establishment of the unit is timely because the ongoing census would allow the ministry to obtain more accurate information on the number of PWD among the population. 5 telecommunication companies will soon provide attractive internet packages for learning purposes to the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM and Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia STPM candidates. According to the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC, under these special data packages, Celcom, Digi, Maxis, U Mobile and Telekom Malaysia TM will offer prepaid data passes at RM20 for 15 gigabytes for 30-day periods from the 6th of January next year. In a statement, MCMC also noted that the Learning from Home LFH facility provided by YTL has been extended until the 2 examinations are over. Free SIM card with 40 gigabyte data, content and free telephone will also be provided for the students from B40 families under the LFH initiative. Furthermore, students from the lower income group families can also apply to get free mobile phones for their convenience. MCMC also announced that the community internet centres operating hours have been extended and will now operate from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. in order to make it easier for the examination candidates and students from B40 households to conduct their learning and daily activities. Malaysian low-cost airline AirAsia has decided to introduce 4 new domestic routes, starting with a route connecting Kota Baru, Kelantan to Langkawi today and following it up with 3 more next week. A total of 96 passengers boarded the inaugural AK6289 flight, which landed at the Langkawi International Airport at 1:15 p.m. this afternoon. Langkawi Development Authority, LADA Chief Executive Officer Dr. Hezri Adnan believe that the new route from the East Coast state will be able to increase the number of domestic tourists on the island.
Kita optimistik yang sasaran 250,000 pengunjung ke Langkawi akan dapat dicapai pada bulan Disember, kerana kalau kita lihat trend di jetty memang sesak kedatangan ke Langkawi dan pesawat yang masuk ke Langkawi juga semalam saja 27 penerbangan dan hari ini 23 penerbangan. Dan kalau trend ini berterusan, insya-Allah sasaran 250,000 pengunjung pada bulan Disember kita akan dapat capai.
Besides this route, AirAsia will also begin operations for 3 other new routes next week, which are Pulau Pinang to Kota Baru, Johor Bahru to Kota Baru and Ipoh to Langkawi. Effective 1st January next year, operation and maintenance of Kelantan Sewerage Works will be handed over fully to the federal government. This means that the company owned by the Kelantan government, Majari Services Sdn Bhd, will pass the duty to National Sewerage Works Service Company Indah Water Consortium IWK Sdn Bhd. According to Environment and Water Minister Datuk Seri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, through the initiative, IWK will be responsible for 33 sewage treatment plants and 13 pumping stations. Sludge cleansing will also be conducted by IWK onto 81,275 individual septic tanks and almost 260,000 traditional tanks throughout Kelantan.
Mempunyai tangki tradisional yang paling banyak di Malaysia dan kita akan uruskan dengan baik selepas penyerahan tersebut dan IBK akan menggunakan kepakaran dalaman untuk melaksanakan kajian tadahan sistem pembentungan serantau untuk seluruh negeri Kelantan dengan unjuran selama 30 tahun.
The handover of sewerage systems will allow uniformization of sewerage systems nationwide, in addition to ensuring waste treatment operations is fulfilled at the highest standards. Concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, Malaysia to procure COVID-19 vaccine supply from European companies. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.